What's up there, perplexed poodles? Poodle Lurks here, and today we're going to talk about Anthrocon's recent controversial decision to ban incomplete fursuits in the fursuit parade. Alright, in case you don't know what poodling is, it's exactly what I'm demonstrating here. It's basically showing human skin with an incomplete fursuit on. Now, I was all excited to make this video when I got up this morning, and I started scrolling through my Blue Sky feed, and I noticed that Artemis Wishfoot already made a video on this topic. Probably some other furry YouTubers did too. But just like every news network can cover a story, a bunch of us can talk about the same thing. I'm going to give you my take on this situation. So Anthrocon just released some new rules for the fursuit parade for 2025. I'll put them up here on the screen. You can pause the video and read them if you want. The most significant thing is they've banned poodling, and they've essentially banned incomplete fursuits. Pretty much anything less than a 3/4 suit with arm sleeves is not allowed in the fursuit parade anymore. Obviously, this has caused quite a bit of controversy. We're going to break down both sides of the argument and talk about what could have been done better. Now, Anthrocon is saying that safety is the primary reason for this. The fursuit parade, as it stands right now, is too long. I can attest to that. I filmed it in 2023. It was an hour and 20 minutes from beginning to end. All these people are in fursuits during that time. It is horrendously hot in Pittsburgh in the summer, both outside and inside the DLCC. The DLCC is an old convention center, and their HVAC just can't keep up and just can't cool the building enough for a furry convention. That was in fact the reason why I filmed the fursuit parade instead of participating in it in 2023, because I was dying in my full Digidegrade suit. Just walking from the main hotel to the convention center required a 10-minute stop in the headless lounge so I wouldn't overheat, and I'm usually really impervious to heat. Now, I suspect the other reason for this is Anthrocon's kind of unique position as a furry convention. A lot of furry conventions happen in places where the public is neutral or even maybe negative toward the fandom. Pittsburgh loves Anthrocon. They love the economic impact of the con, and they just love the whole vibe of it. It has a really wholesome image compared to other furry events. A lot of people come out to watch the parade, and there's a lot of media coverage. I think because of that, Anthrocon is pushing for the aesthetic of having full and almost full suitors make up the parade. So I obviously am not on the Anthrocon staff. I was not a fly on the wall when they were making this decision, so I don't really know the ins and outs of why the decision was made. This is speculation, to be fair. Okay, so why are people upset about this? First of all, let me point out that in terms of protecting people from overheating, I don't know if this is a really good solution because, yeah, you're making the fursuit parade shorter potentially by having less participants, but you're having all those participants in more significant fursuits not able to cool off. So I don't know if that's really going to fix anything safety-wise. Now, a lot of people have been saying on social media that this whole thing comes off as elitist and ableist. And to be honest, yeah, it does. Elitist because not everybody can afford to wear a fursuit. Fursuits are an expensive luxury. You gotta have your bills covered before you even think about starting to save up to buy something like this. And a lot of people just aren't at that point in their life yet where they can afford it. And it's kind of not cool to them to say, you gotta have a full fursuit to be in the parade. Now, I admit at times I have looked at people in the fursuit parade who are just wearing like their regular clothes and maybe a dino mask or a pup hood or a pair of ears and been like, why are they in the parade? But then my anti-douchebag sense quickly kicks in and I'm like, wait, they belong there. Hey, look, that's a kid with that dino mask on. They probably decorated that themselves and they're really excited to be in the parade. Hey, that guy with the pup hood, maybe they just can't afford to buy a fursuit yet and they want to be in the parade and participate. And that's totally cool. Maybe that person with a handler who's not dressed up needs that handler. So I tend to be okay with people that are not really fursuiters being in the fursuit parade if they choose to be, but that's me. People are also saying it's ableist, and here's why. There may be medical reasons why people can't wear a full or 3/4 suit. People may have low heat tolerance. People may have visual impairments. People may have invisible disabilities. They may have extreme anxiety. They may have claustrophobia where they can't wear a full suit or they need that handler with them. Now, handlers are allowed if you have a medical need for one or a disability. I'm not saying they're banning handlers altogether, because they're certainly not, but some people might be uncomfortable trying to ask the staff for an exception to have the handler accompany them in the parade. So the way it works is you have to be pre-approved to participate in the parade. You have to go to a designated area the day before the parade. and you have to get a sticker put on your con badge indicating that you've been approved, that somebody has looked at what you're going to wear or a picture of what you're going to wear and said, yes, that meets the rules. All right, so in my opinion, what could have been done better to avoid this controversy? If the main purpose of this rule change was to reduce the size and length of the fursuit parade, here's something I would like to see Anthrocon try, at least the first year, and see if it works. You could require pre-registration and require people to check a box when they register in order to be in the fursuit parade. I think that might help eliminate some of the people who just popped into the parade on a whim, and maybe give you a higher percentage of fursuiters versus non-suitors or barely suitors in the parade. Not sure, but it would have been something worth a try instead of just going for an outright ban. Now, Anthrocon obviously knew this was going to be controversial. If you read the wording, they're like, yeah, we know this isn't going to be a popular thing, but here's the decision and here's why. So I don't think they're going to walk back on this. You're probably going to have to comply with the rules if you want to be in the parade. After all, it is a fursuit parade. It's not a convention attendee parade. I personally wouldn't have done it if it was my convention, but I think they do kind of have the right to put those rules in place and say, hey, we want fursuiters in the fursuit parade. Like they said, it may not be a popular decision, but it's theirs to make. After all, it is a private event and they make their own rules. In this case, I don't necessarily agree with the decision they made on the rules 100%, but that's that, and it's done for now. Maybe things will change next year if enough people are unhappy with it. You can always choose to boycott the convention if you feel strongly about it. So what do you think? Is this unreasonable for Anthrocon or any con to require full fursuits to be in the parade? Let me know down in the comments. And thank you so much, as always, to our super incredible, amazing, generous patrons who help fund this channel. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you poodles, noodles, and doodles next time. Until then, you stay safe, and you stay fuzzy.